What up?
Heyo! What up, everybody?
Hey,
How's it going?
how's it going? How's it going? How's it going? Look at us.
Look at us.
Just look at us. Starting a new chapter in the Monday saga.
In the Monday saga, Mellow Monday.
Hello.
Well, just like the little thing I shared today, it's just new name, some vibe.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I feel like we're gonna explain it, and then everybody's gonna hop in, and we're gonna have to re-explain it. Like what the true shift is
Well,
from Mental Health Monday to Mellow Monday.
we can get to that then in a second, I guess.
I like, I know I said this last week, but I like your new setup.
Thank you, man. Yeah,
And,
I like it too. It's getting more interesting. Will be more interesting in the coming days. I got more stuff on the way in the mail right now.
I love it. I love it. I'm glad to be back at home in my space. Everything looking new, looking fresh. So it
Yeah.
feels good.
Yeah, dude, it always feels good. I'm not really one of those two like material possessions sort of people, but like it does
Yeah.
feel good to like spruce it up. Uh for the longest time, it's like I was explaining to Belle the other day. For the longest time, all of this stuff has just been in my room, so now I get to like throw it all out around the house.
Right. Yeah.
And it's
Spread
weird.
yourself out a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, but it's dope at the same time. So I'm having fun with it.
Yeah. Well, so should we just get into it?
You can get into it, bud.
Let's get into it then. Well, so like he said, we're changing up the name, but it's the same vibes. Mondays are still for the mind. But now we're doing Mellow Monday rather than Mental Health Monday because, we think we were getting a little redundant with the mental health, and with us not being professionals, we could always have people on the show and stuff like that. But we felt like we were having a lot of the same conversations, and
Mhm.
there are many different ways to get that mind right. So we figured we'll just make Mondays mellow, and we'll just chill, we'll vibe, we'll talk. And just we'll still have guests, we'll still talk about mental health, all that good stuff, but yeah, just to broaden the show a little bit.
Broaden her out.
Yeah, get some new guests so that might go worldwide, who knows, get people from all over the place on the
Yeah,
show.
this might be the start. The start of something very big. No, you
Yeah.
never know. It could be more, it helps it so when we do have a guest, it can be more
Mhm.
aim more directly at them, not really pertaining. Like we had MC Rhoda the other day. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, we talked mental health with him. We talked depression. That's what his new album was about. But like
Mhm.
even that conversation kind of like veered off into more of like a interview music,
Yeah.
type of conversation. So it's like, we're not professionals. We don't know what the hell we're talking
Right.
about sometimes. So
So I'm sure we'll always pepper in our mental health on
Mhm.
Mondays, but it's just now we can have broader conversations about whatever. um so yeah, Mellow Monday.
Mellow Monday.
I believe we had talked about our theme for the week being like horror and mental health. Is that right? Something like that.
Let's go with it.
Let's do it. We ain't got nothing else.
Yeah, no. The only thing I was thinking in my head was like we need to have a mellow out moment on Mondays where we tell people to mellow out on something. And I just feel like my mellow out. I saw today the internet released a picture for Sandman, the upcoming Sandman show on
Yeah.
Netflix of Joanna Constantine. And a lot of people are upset, why, they're bringing an old character up new and not just using John Constantine. Mellow out, man. Just I love John Constantine as much as the next guy, but just mellow out, dude.
I hear you.
Let Joanna have a moment,
I like this. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
my mellow out moment for the week. Been watching the Jurassic Park movies. Jurassic Park fans, you mellow out. They're just movies about dinosaurs. It ain't all that serious. Very strongly opinionated people. See,
Jurassic Park.
so you boys need to mellow out. Crack yourself a Dr. Pepper. Enjoy the merchandising and just mellow out. It'd be even better if Mellow Yellow sponsored them.
It
Sponsored
would.
Jurassic Park. That would be great.
Or us.
Or us. It might be a little too late. Comes
Or
out on
us,
Friday.
Well, I mean, they could sponsor us now, Mellow Monday.
Oh,
That's
Mellow
what I'm
Yellow.
saying. Mellow Yellow.
I'd totally be the face of Mellow Yellow. I don't give a fuck.
Mellow Monday, sponsored by Mellow Yellow.
By Mellow Yellow. The official drink.
Unofficially sponsored by Mellow Yellow. That's how we should pitch it.
Right, yeah. Well, we should just constantly be drinking Mellow Yellows on Mondays. Just make it seem that we are.
It's nice too because it's not right now, but it should start raining here soon.
Yeah.
So this is like, let's get a bottle of the bubbly out and crack it. This is an official Mellow Monday.
Very, very mellow.
The rain always makes me mellow.
I feel that. I feel that.
Very, very much mellowed out. But yes, we were talking horror and mental health, because it is interesting to me that we cut that. It's very interesting to me that we, use these, if this happened in real life type shit, it'd be crazy.
Right.
Images and video and video games and all sorts of stuff of horror as a way to escape our realities. I don't know.
Right.
It's always been interesting to me. I mean, I get it that it's a controlled fear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just always like, I don't know why chainsaws and guts and blood always it just always did it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I've definitely seen the thing come up a lot about, I've talked about it before with like my anxiety levels just kind of going up the less I watch horror movies. And like my real life anxiety, like, and I think it's definitely because of that controlled fear factor where it's like you're in a controlled environment, it's just a movie, all that shit. And yeah, I don't know. It's easier to get over shit. It's like, yeah, I mean, there's fucked up stuff going on in the world, which scares me just as much. But it's like, at least I'm not getting like fucking chained up in a basement and hacked to pieces. You know what I mean? Like,
oh no,
I might be a silver linings kind of guy, but that's what it takes.
I guess for me, it's always one of those. I don't know. I like weird stuff, and yeah, you brought up the world and our worldview. It's kind of looking grim. So when I look at this kind of stuff, and I like zombies and ghosts and boogeymans and stuff like that, it's like maybe the bomb drops, I'll come back as a ghoul.
Right.
I'll still be here, but I'll just be a ghoul.
Yeah, I think there's something to that as well. Like people who rock with horror rock with the afterlife in some way, shape, or form, and so I think that kind of gives people something, like even if they're not religious, like they're like, well, exactly what you just said, like I might come back as a ghost or a ghoul or a zombie or some shit, it gives them something to ease that, pain of death or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they used to scare the shit out of me when I was a kid, when I'd watch horror movies all day.
Oh, same.
And I don't know, man. Like when I'm like looking back on life, those are some of the first memories, that I can think of, is like watching Nightmare on Elm Street with my sister on like a Saturday morning, or how the USA Network always played Friday the 13th marathons on Friday the 13th.
Right.
But then my parents, they took it a step further because they'd make me like go through the haunted house with them.
Yeah.
This is back in the 90s when they were like, nah, you got to take that kid through with you. So that's a lot of my early memories too, is being in a haunted house and being fucking terrified.
I just flipped a switch, like I wasn't a horror kid at all until like 2007, like late 2007, almost 2008.
Yeah.
Just I think it was Rob Zombie's Halloween was what kind of broke it. But before that, like I was like, my parents to this day joke about how I was scarred for life by Goosebumps, the haunted mask. Like it freaked me the fuck out. I had my grandmother. One of
Goosebumps
the
is solid too, by the way.
It is. Goosebumps was probably my earliest introduction into horror. Um, see, I could handle the books and shit. That was different. Like I'd read all sorts of shit like that, but like when it came to watching it, like it freaked me out. And then like I would catch glimpses of stuff that my parents were watching, and that was the stuff that like freaked me out the most. I feel like there's still shit to this day. It's because like I caught like a glimpse of the opening of Final Destination once. Like I'm still like I ain't getting on a plane. You know what I mean? Like like I saw that as a kid just for a moment. I'm sitting here watching this movie with my parents. Like oh these kids are going on vacation. How nice. And then that happens. I'm like I'm out. I'm done. This is fucked up. And then I caught the part later where the chick gets hit by the bus, and like all of this, like really, had an impression. I was like, oh my god, this is horrific. And then in 2007 or eight or whatever, Rob Zombie's Halloween, I just dove in head first because Phil actually was the one who got me into horror. He's responsible because he's like, yeah, I watched it. It's pretty good. You should check it out. So I did, and it's so brutal, and it's just such a extreme horror movie that it's like right into the deep end. Because like right after that, I bought my dad the Saw trilogy at the time
Mhm.
because I knew he fucked with them and stuff. So I got him those movies, and then I was like, well, I watched Rob Zombie's Halloween, so I'll give these a go. So I watched Saw. So that was like my intro. It was like Rob Zombie's Halloween, Saw, the just real hardcore shit, and nothing was the same.
I feel that. I don't know if I ever told the story of how like I got into like being like cool with them and like not being afraid of Chucky no more. I don't know
Uh,
if I ever said that.
I don't know.
I pretty much put the pieces together what happened. See, when my parents used to watch like the scary movies when I was a little kid, they'd be like, Aaron, you can't be in the room, man. You got to get out of the room and all this stuff. Well, so I remember seeing Child's Play for the first time. And the way I could piece it together is like when they throw Chucky in their place, my parents thought, all right, Chucky's dead. He's done. Yeah, and you come back into the room. And because that's the scene that I remember scared the fuck out of me is him coming back out of that fireplace, alive or whatever, and oh man, no, I was gonzo. And it went as far as like I remember having a dream where Chucky cut me on the side when I was a kid, and then I actually got cut on my side like a few days later, in the same spot. So I thought that was terrifying to me. I was like, he's like Freddy Krueger now. He's gonna try to get me in my dreams, and shit.
Yeah.
But then I had this one dream, wild ass dream, and I still can remember it. Is like I was chilling in like a big city. I ain't never been big city Shep at that time. I was just a little guy. Big ass limousine pulls up, and Chucky gets out of the back, but he looks more like when Chucky on the Rugrats, Charles Finster was like, whenever he's all dressed up nice and has his hair all slicked back and stuff, you know what I'm saying? That's more what Chucky looked like to me in my perception at this time. But like, he's like, Aaron, I don't just kill people all the time. I'm not that bad of a guy. And like this entire dream is just like me and him hitting this arcade and shit. I was like, damn, dude, this is actually really
That's so
fun.
funny.
Yeah. And then like after that, like when I woke up, I was like, no, I can watch that. It's cool. Chucky's cool. Like he didn't kill everybody, like
Right.
not all of us. Maybe not me. I don't know.
That's so funny.
Yeah. And then I was like, never had no fear of him or nothing again. Yeah. It's wild, man. It's wild the shit you forget when you're a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like my mom was telling me yesterday something about me. We had this shed right next to it. We had a pool and we had a shed right next to it.
Yeah.
And she's like, I kept telling you kids, don't you fucking jump off that shed into the pool. And she's like, and you kept doing it one day and then you slipped and you fell down right by where like the pump was for like the chlorine and filter and stuff. And you hit your head on one of the blocks of concrete down there. And I'm like,
Damn.
I was like, I don't remember that. And she's like, no, it happened and all this stuff.
You were
And
in
I'm
a
like,
coma for 3 weeks.
well, I was like, well, I guess the hit to the head probably cleared that memory right then and there.
Yeah.
I was like, 'cause I do not remember that one. But yeah, it's a trip.
You know, I'm thinking on it now about like back in the day when I was a kid and reading like Goosebumps and stuff like that. Like I wasn't a big horror person. But even as a kid, like those few horror stories I read, and into my teenage years when I started getting really into like horror movies and stuff, I think all of those fed into these situations where like I growing up, I was a very adventurous kid. Like I was very like, let's play in the woods and like just make shit up and you know uh but I'd put myself in situations where it's like, let's go ghost hunting or it's just shit like that. You know what I mean? Or like maybe, yeah, especially as little kids, when we're like, oh, there's a monster over here. And it's like shit like that. But it's like, we're going to go over there because the monster's there. It's a risk, but we're willing to take it. You know what I mean? Because you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you see these horror movies or something like it, even like the kids stuff, like something like the Goonies or something. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like, it enables you to face those fears. Like you're even as a kid, there's like
Goonies was big for
there's a
me growing
monster
up.
over there, but we should go. We should face down this monster. We should give it a go.
Did you have an imaginary friend growing up?
I had a lot of imaginary friends growing up, but my main guy was Casper. My parents told me this story, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right." Like I remember Casper. He was my OG imaginary best friend, and I fucked with him so hard. We were in Tennessee when I was like really little, like looking for a place, and we were going to these open houses and stuff. And we went to this one, and we left, and I started freaking out like down the road. I'm like, "Yo, yo, like Casper's back at the house. Like we got to go back and get him. Like he didn't get in the car." So they finally turned around and they went back. We pull up, and I just opened the door, and I closed it, and I'm like, he's in the car. We can roll.
I
Like,
think
I
you've
mean,
told me that
I think
before. I
so.
think
Yeah.
yeah, that's good. That's so wholesome.
Right, isn't it?
It's so nice that your parents drove back there to be like, God damn it. All
God,
right, jeez.
God damn it. Yeah. It's very real to me. But you know what? Let me find out. I actually just had some little ghost boy for a friend, and I had no idea. I'm just like, it's just my imaginary friend, mom.
We
Or
had
they told me it was my imaginary friend. I'm
well,
like, he's right here. On
me
some
and I
poltergeist
know
shit.
it spread into my friends. We had Black Cat. That was the imaginary friend, is just a black cat with the top hat. And in my
Ugh.
imagination, that's my imagination of him, was just like Mr. Peanut. Think Mr. Peanut, but just a black cat.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just kicking it.
It's wholesome in itself.
I
Yeah.
mean, he got us into some fucking mischief, so don't let us sight.
Don't let the cat in the top hat fool you.
Yeah, the looks
That
can be
also that
deceiving.
also tracks. I mean, I've seen the cat in the hat.
Exactly.
If a cat comes along in a top hat, you know you're in for a time.
Yeah, it was a play on that, but like darker, because he's like he's like goth. He was
He's
emo.
like somewhere between the cat in the hat and the fucking rabbit from Donnie Darko.
Yeah, he's emo before emo was a thing. I'm pretty sure he was the one that convinced us to smash the windows the one time. It's like,
Oh goodness.
no, I'm
I
kidding.
think that just might be a demon. You might who knows?
I'll never put that blame on my boy. Okay, Black Cat was a saint, a saint. But no, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I didn't really, as far as horror goes, to bounce us back on topic.
Yeah.
I don't. I can't really pinpoint when like I dove into being like, I really fuck with this. I really like this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because like I've talked about how like I remember seeing Scream when I was like 9 years old. That scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I remember we went and saw the Blair Witch Project when it came out,
Oh shit.
and on the way home it was like dark. It was summer and whatnot. It was like it was me and my mother and my aunt, her sister, and my sister. And they stopped outside of town by the woods, and they're like, "Come on, Aaron, let's go get into the woods." And I remember being like, "If you guys get out, I will drive. I don't know how to, but I am gone." Like, what the fuck? And they were like, "No, we won't." But like, they used to. I feel like they used to just love. I was that. I was always that getting some. That's probably why I got into it. It was because it always scared the fuck out of me all the time.
Right.
And you know, to quote a great Owen Hart, you know, at some point you got to say, you know,
You totally cut out whatever you just
enough.
said.
I said enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
You're like so and so said, and then you just like cut out, and then you came back when you were done,
Okay.
and you're like, it's like I don't.
I mean, Owen Hart said a lot of good things. He probably had a moment of silence at some point that he didn't say anything on a microphone, so he just walked away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't, like, I know, like, when I got into like the whole you know, insane clown posse juggalo
Mhm.
thing, you know, that the horror was like, it was well all in that. So I know for a fact, like
Yeah.
around, you know, 15,
Uh,
16.
I had that too with music as well around junior high, I guess. Um, well, it would have been getting into horror movies got me into horror music because I got obsessed with Rob Zombie after seeing Halloween, and so I just started consuming all this Rob Zombie shit, whatever movies he had made at that point, which was only like the other two around that
Well, see,
time.
I guess that's why it's unique for me, because I
But
knew
then
him from I
yeah,
knew
you
him from
you knew him
White
from music,
Zombie.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because so I started getting super heavy into that, and I always remember. It's kind of a side note, but I had this Rob Zombie T-shirt, and I think I thought about it when we had the religion episode not too long ago, but I totally wore that shirt to church, like with my aunt. They were like, "Oh, it's fine." I'm like, "Are you sure?" Because it feels fairly demonic to just be rolling up into a church with this like Rob Zombie shirt on. It's just like, it's like okay, if you
No,
say so.
that's funny.
But
That's
yeah, I
funny.
fucked with it. My aunt who's like pretty religious and stuff like that. She bought me like the I forget which one it is. It may have even been his like greatest hits. But I'm like sitting there with my CD player on, like listening to it. And I'm like, if she only knew what she just purchased me, she would be like, "What in the hell?"
No, I vibe with that. I think the cringiest shirt I ever got in trouble for wearing to church was a Limp Bizkit t-shirt. Um,
That's funny.
yeah, and it was like in like one night in Cambodia or something t-shirt, and it had two nurses, and their butt cheeks were showing and their nipples were hard, and I got in trouble. And I was just like, back off, dude. It's fucking Limp Bizkit, you know, like, get out of here.
That's
But
so funny.
yeah, now I'd slap the shit out of myself wearing that. Like, take it off.
Take it off.
You don't want to wear that.
God damn it, Shep.
God damn it, Aaron. Take the fucking Limp Biscuit off.
There's your next dad skit right there. Going to church with yourself. God damn it, Aaron. Take the limp biscuit off.
With that fucking Limp Biscuit shirt off. But no, but see, like, I don't know, man. Like, as far as music goes, like the first shit that I listened to that really I was like, damn, what it was Marilyn Manson Antichrist Superstar. Like, I remember when that came out. And that was just like, what the fuck is this? You know, as a
Right.
kid, that's 1996. Again, 9 years old, I believe is 96 or 95, 97, somewhere around there. That CD came out. And it was just insane, man. My dad, my brother, they fucking loved it. So I was hearing it all the time. And, you know, it was like that. And then I know, like, when my dad and my mom got divorced, my dad started dating this witch lady. Um, so there was that. So that was a nice introduction, you know. So that's
Right,
what I,
right, right.
you know, like when it goes back to like when I think like relating myself with horror in life, it's like, man, it's always fucking been there. Like, you know, ever since I can remember up until now, it's always been there. It's just like, I don't know, at some point I was just like, fuck it, dude. I
Right.
might as well embrace this if I'm always gonna be around it and start.
Yeah. I'm glad I did because it's I don't know, horror and the horror community is so interesting to me, I almost find it interesting. I mean, it's not to say there's not toxic horror fans out there, but I
Oh,
feel like the horror community is for everything that horror can be is so like less toxic than like the superhero communities and shit like that. And it's just like You know, it's one of those things. Almost feels like the Christianity Satanism thing, where it's just like this Satanist over here has more spirit and faith than this
Yeah.
Christian over here. But the Christian's supposed to be the gold standard. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Well, and horror's always been like weird, when you think about it, because like, especially when you try to like relate it with superhero movies,
mhm,
for the longest time, like everybody was bitching like there's only male heroes, why is only male villains and this and that. Whereas horror movies, even back in the 80s and earlier,
yeah,
you had the main person whooping ass by the end of it being a female lead and
mm,
shit like that. We had scream queens, this whole time and shit like,
yeah.
so
It's
I don't
always
know,
been a
man.
very inclusive community. I feel like, um, even with last week when we were rated, like I've checked out some of their stuff on Twitch. A lot of the people who were here last week, and because I'm pretty oblivious to a lot of the Twitch stuff. Um, but even those communities, it's like I've always said, like if I'm going to stream a video game, it's probably going to be a horror video game because like I like playing those with people. It's like a communal thing. Even going to the theater and seeing a horror movie, like I love it when the theater's packed. You know what I mean? Because it's like you're going to get that communal. It's like, oh, we're all in this bitch together. Like like we're in this. Like, and there's something about that you don't get with a whole lot of other things. And it's dope. Yeah, people are always very supportive, I feel like.
Yeah. No, I've there's only been one instance of a horror movie going and seeing it that I've just completely soured everything for me, and that was Saw.
Oh, because the person who spoiled it on the way
Yeah,
out.
because someone spoiled theirs going out on our way in, being like, "Oh man," they looked right at us, so they purposely were like, "I can't believe the guy just laid on the floor the whole time," or "Guy on the floor is the killer the whole time." We're like,
That's
"Nah, that's not it." And by the end of it, I was like, "Let's go." Let's
that
get the
sucks.
fuck out of here. But
Yeah.
as far as like, yeah, I don't know, man. That was it, man. Other than that, they've always been nice. I don't know, like I've never really gotten scared at a moment in a theater. That's what I was trying to think about. Like, have I ever gotten like scared at a weird moment that no one else got scared? I guess
Yeah.
that would be
I,
kind of embarrassing.
I know with COVID these past couple years and shit, like theaters have just kind of been weird. Like, and I was like one of the only people going when it was open at first. And so it's like I'm constantly just in these theaters by myself. And a few horror movies came out along the way, and it's like I I hadn't seen a whole lot of horror movies all by myself in a movie theater. That shit hits different, like especially depending on the movie. Like I saw A Quiet Place Part Two. Um, I saw it two times. I saw it once that first time by myself, and that was the first time I got to see it. It was a baller movie, but especially when you're just by yourself in that theater and it's just pin drop silent, like you don't have nobody else in the theater making rustling noises or nothing, like it's just fucking silence and you're
Yep.
just in it, dude. And then like the next day I saw it with a crowd at the IMAX because I had like a free pass or whatever, so I went with my sister, and it very just a totally different experience. You get all the, like everybody getting into it like all at once, and sometimes I feel like that almost like watching a comedy with somebody, like watching a horror movie with somebody can almost make it scarier sometimes. Like, you
Oh
know,
yeah. Oh yeah.
and it's like just like a comedy could be funnier when you're watching it with somebody, but when you're alone, you're like, but of course with horror, you got the opposite effect as well, where it's like it can be scarier when you're alone.
Very true.
Yeah.
I think the last movie I saw that generally in a theater that generally scared the shit out of me, and I've probably said this before, has been Amityville Horror way back in the day with Ryan
Oh,
Reynolds.
yeah. Really.
That one, it was just because me and my buddy we went and seen it together when we knew it was a horror movie, and we were all about that. But we got really, really stoned on our way there to go see it, and it was just something about like, here's this guy that was in, like Waiting and all these funny movies, Van Wilder and all this shit. And he was just so fucking disturbing in that movie. Like, I don't know. I think it was like the part where he's like, I don't know if you've ever watched that remake of it, but he makes this little kid hold a log of wood while he
Yeah,
chops
yeah,
it with
yeah,
an
yeah.
axe. Yeah. Oh man, I was like, dude, fuck that. I was like, no, I'd be like, I'd get the fuck out of there. That one
Yeah.
did
I
it.
th- I feel like the last time I was like genuinely like terrified during a movie. Um, I mean, there have been some where shit just doesn't feel right, and you just like you leave the theater just with an unsettling feeling after what you've just seen. Like now, that shit that I feel like is true horror. The stuff that just seeps down to your bones, and you got to like shower it off. You're like, oh, like goddamn, like Hereditary. When I saw Hereditary in theaters, that shit was crazy. Like it was just one of those movies. There was another one I saw that wasn't even necessarily a horror movie, but Annihilation with Natalie Portman. Um, Fantastic movie, but that movie, like, there's a scene like near the middle that was just like bone chilling, and just But these are all movies that more so had moments, and like when that movie is over, like not a soul in the theater fucking moved a muscle. They're all just like, "What did we just watch?" Like a collective, just like mind blown experience. Um, and we all just had to go home and be like, "I need a minute." Like, just I don't know what I just saw. Um, but I honestly feel like the last time I like was at a theater and like from start to finish, I just felt genuine terror watching a movie. It was actually this movie called Deliver Us from Evil. And it was about like the cop or whatever, like based on a true story. I think that he was like a cop in Boston or some shit
Okay.
that got wrapped up in some sort of paranormal uh, thing. Uh, there's just I saw it with Phil and I think his sister and maybe somebody else was with us at the time. But man, it was just an intense fucking movie for whatever reason. Like I go back and rewatch it, and I'm just like, I don't know what it was about seeing this movie in theaters, but it was a lot. We
Intense.
left, and I'm like, Phil, let me get one of those cigarettes. I'm like, I was stressed to the max.
Damn.
That was, you know,
Yeah, you know it's real when you need a cigarette and you don't even smoke.
right. You're like, I don't know what just happened. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Well, I feel like a lot of that shit bleeds over to real life. Like I was saying about like facing those like monsters and ghosts and shit. Like I said in my teenage years, it was all about ghost hunting. Like more so like it left the realm of childhood of like the monsters possibly being around the corner and shit to like, nah, ghosts are real and we're gonna go fuck with them. Even though we watch these movies and we know that's a bad idea, let's go do it anyways. uh so we would go to like abandoned houses and shit like that, and just spooky ooky places, hang out in cemeteries and
I
swap
always
ghost
thought
stories, shit like
I
that.
I always thought like me and my buddies did the same shit. And I always thought like to me it was more about like questioning mortality and life at that age. And so you're looking for an answer to like, is there an afterlife? Maybe if you see a ghost and well shit, man, there's more to this than just this life.
Yeah. Do you guys have a classic black and white / sci-fi favorite? Examples like, um, I mean, right off the jump, the first thing that comes to mind is Night of the Living Dead.
That's what I was thinking
Yeah.
that you was gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to think if there's something else. There's another one that comes to mind, but I don't actually think it's like a black and white movie. Um, I think it's from the '70s. It's called Phase Four, and I watched it randomly. I think like 2 Octobers ago for my little Halloween marathon, and it was about ants, but they weren't giant ants. They were regular sized ants, but they were like, I don't know if they were from a different planet or some shit, but it was basically just a standoff between these ants and these scientists in this bunker. It was interesting. I found it to be fascinating. It was a weird little movie.
I do like Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein. Those are two big classics to me. Um, and there was a third one, but I can't think of it. Oh, I was gonna. Oh, the old um, Twilight Zones. They're all
Oh
in black and white,
yes,
and I
yeah.
do love those.
Mhm.
And although it's not horror, another one of my favorite films is the original Day the Earth Stood Still. I do enjoy that one.
I actually I have a copy of like the newer one with Keanu Reeves, and it came
Mhm.
with a Blu-ray copy of the original, and I started watching it like years ago, and I still want to finish it to this day. I just never got back around to it because I was loving it. I really
No,
enjoyed it.
it's decent, man. That was a movie. So when I was in film studies class, and that was, when we got to that era and that time period, that was one of the movies my teacher had us watch, and I was like, yo, I fuck with this, dude. I like this movie. I think it was the only one in the whole
Which
class that was
one?
like
The
the day the earth
oh
stood
yeah,
still. And I was like, I fucking like this, man. Like, this is cool.
I
So
just like I know there's other ones like, but Night of the Living Dead is probably like if I'm just choosing one favorite, that's probably it for sure.
yeah, easy.
It's just been very impactful.
But
With
like,
all of
yeah,
them.
the Nosferatu is really good too. But that's just like one of those. I know him more from, like seeing clips
Yeah,
throughout media and other stuff of that film than actually watching the actual
I've
film.
kicked around like I've actually not seen a lot of these, and the reason why is pretty stupid. Because as you see behind me, my massive movie collection, being the movie collector that I am, there's always like this Blu-ray set of all the classic Universal monster movies, and I'm always just kind of I've just been biding my time. I'm just like fishing with it, like I'm just kind of letting the line out, fucking reeling it back in, because I'm just like waiting for the time to be right. That like because they're constantly changing the cases on those things, and I'm just waiting for like a good price, and then I'm gonna swoop in, I'm gonna get it, and I haven't watched them because I'm like, well, I'm gonna buy and I haven't fucking done that in like a decade of me being like, I'm gonna buy these movies. It happens, man.
They're pretty good, man. There's some
Yeah,
pretty good old-timey movies. Chinatown is non-horror at all, but that was another
right.
one
It's
of my
another one that
favorite.
I need to see.
Yeah, bro. The original Chinatown was baller.
I could see myself. I know I'm not one to do like YouTube content necessarily, but I could see myself doing the like first time watching videos, like because there's a lot of classics that I'd love to get around to watching. It's like fuck it, if I gotta you know make it work with the show, we can do that.
There's a lot more modern classics. It would be the ones for me. The old-timey ones I've watched a lot of,
Yeah.
but the
See,
modern ones is like,
for me, when I was that 2007 2008 range, when I got into horror, like that was just the age like where I was always into movies, but that was the age where I was just a little bit older and I had my own ways of getting them now without needing my parents to help me like go buy a movie or rent something from the store or something. Because when we moved to Catlin, there was a video store in town. And I mean, Phil and I spent many summers just walking back and forth. Like, we'd go up a few times a day and just get stacks of movies and just watch all sorts of shit. And then the library, I would order, like, I would basically just go through lists on the internet of like the movies you need to see, like the classics. But I really dove in on horror because Rob Zombie's Halloween, and then next one thing led to another where it's like, okay, John Carpenter's Halloween. Whoa, this is fucking amazing! Like and then it just one thing after another, and it's like, okay, now I'm watching all the Halloweens. Now I'm watching all the Friday the 13th, the Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, I would get all
all the
these
Halloweens
classic
besides number 3.
horror movies out of the way, and then I'd also start watching like classic dramas and stuff. My cousin got me really into the Oscars, and he collects all the movies, so he had a lot of like classics from all over time. He has all of them, and so I watched a lot with him. But it's like there's a lot of fucking movies, and especially at some point within the past 10 years, the production of movies just fucking is like times 10 from what it used to be, and it's like, and that's probably a heavy understatement. Um, but there's just movies being made at such a rapid rate now that I don't know. At some point during that time, I was like watching modern stuff more often, um, while catching up on all these classics. And then at a certain point, I just kind of started keeping up with modern stuff because I watch a lot. I still do watch a lot of like indie stuff, and just shit that like I'll be like, "Yo, have you seen this?" And somebody's like, "The fuck are you talking about? That's not even a real movie,"
Well,
you know?
it's crazy to think about, like, when you think back at these old timey movies back then, how less of a population on Earth there really was back then compared
Right.
to now. So when you're thinking then, and you're thinking like, how these Humphrey Bogart type guys come out with like 8, 9, 10 movies a year,
Right.
type thing, because back then there was probably like maybe 5,000
Hmm.
in the United States, compared to now there's probably what, 50,000 actors in the United States.
Right.
It's crazy to think of that. That's something I've been thinking recently when it's became like with music and stuff. It's like, dude, like, man, like when I was a kid and you were looking at the music industry and they were talking about, man, it's a hard industry to break into and this and that. Yeah, I think there's probably about like 2,000, 5,000 musicians in the United States at that time. Now there's probably like 75,000 of us out here.
Yeah.
And it's like, God,
It's the one thing, man. I just
so you got to do it for
it's
yourself.
not it seems like it's a saturated market, but it's not, you know. Like everybody, we've talked about this before. Everybody wants to be a rock star or a filmmaker or an actor, but when they find out what work goes into it, they're like, "Yeah, never mind." You know? They're
I
like,
think
I'm
that,
good."
and like I said, I think if you just want to do it because you love to do it, it's never going to be a problem. But I
Right.
also think that maybe we can get to a point where it's like, back in my head when it was back in like medieval times when people are just playing music, you're
Right.
just
Right.
there's so many of us. I'm just here playing it. Fuck you guys. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So
Yeah, man. I
getting
love it.
off on a side tangent there. My bad. My bad. I'm
Um,
just mellowing out for the Monday.
oh yeah. Hell yeah. Um, I was gonna say something. I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't know. Oh, we, again, jumping back to that horror kind of leading you to take more risks and embrace your fears and stuff. Um, I feel like in filmmaking, I feel like horror is one of those things that is accessible to a lot of people. Like it's a very entry level genre. It can definitely be done wrong, but even if you're doing it bad, like it can still be good. You know what I mean? So it's a great learning ground for a lot of people. And I think that fear of somebody taking that leap into filmmaking, that's like, I don't know if I can do something like this. Like there's something about them doing horror that like it makes it easier, And again, it's just like you're facing this fear by creating fear and being a part of it. Like I felt the same way when I worked at like a haunted woods. It's like, yeah, it's a little
Yeah, no,
spooky,
for real.
but it I don't know. It
To me, it's all about that controlled environment for that, because you got to think
Mhm.
like movies, like you don't go see, we don't go see Thor. You're not going to go see Thor for a controlled environment around superheroes. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like
right, right.
that's not
Yeah,
why you go see those. You go see them to get inspired, motivated, um, you know, that sort of a
right,
thing. Whereas if you were feeling down in life and you want to see like the goodness in life, you might go see one of the more sappier movies, one of the more uplifting, has a meaning, has a message, going to make you feel and cry type movies.
right.
So I always thought like horror and haunted houses and those are the same. Like a haunted house is as close to it as you can get, as far as like I'm going to face fear head
Yeah,
on right here,
yeah,
and know that no matter how scared I get, I'll be okay. You know,
yeah, yeah.
and it's kind of, to me, it's kind of like an amusement park. When I get on this roller coaster, like I'm gonna move as fast and do flips and be out of control as I can, but it's on a track. It's safe.
Yeah. I will say there is the other side of the coin that we haven't really talked too much about, where um, horror isn't for everybody. Like, it's easy to say, like, oh, horror helps with anxiety and fear and all this shit. And I think that's true for a lot of people, but I wouldn't say everybody by any means, because it's definitely one of those things where, different people are triggered by different things. Like some people just straight up can't deal with blood. So that's not helping them with anything. Like they're just like, I can't do this. And nobody's gonna fucking twist your arm and be like, no, you have to do this. This is the only way. There are plenty of other ways. There are plenty of other genres, where you can escape into and make yourself feel better. It doesn't have to be horror, but you know, there are benefits to being a
Oh
horror
yeah,
fan
no,
for
yeah,
sure.
no. I feel like you could probably get the same mental escapisms through like the fantasies, like the Harry
Yeah.
Potters and those type of Lords of the Rings and shit like that.
Hmm.
I feel like because they're gonna give you your same, kind of feelings and
Yeah.
whatnot. And
I feel that way about like Marvel. For me, it's definitely like an escape. Like I told somebody recently, I'm like, I think I could tell you more about Marvel like history in the comics than I can like world history. Like at this point, it's like I couldn't tell you the difference. Like I just know so much shit that also happened in this universe that doesn't even exist. You know what I mean? But it's like it's an escape for sure.
oh yeah, man, I vibe with that hard. I mean, it is kind of our history when you think about it, though. So you just still know
Yeah.
American history because
Right. Right.
they,
Right.
they are a piece. But that to me, yeah, I go see them for the same reason I read comic books as a child and as an adult, to just zone out, get to see some heroes save the day, or maybe not. I don't
Or
know.
maybe not.
I'm a
Sometimes you
fan.
gotta lose. Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I,
I take lessons from it.
I'm a fan of the unhappy endings in movies. I don't know. You don't see them too often.
Yeah,
And I like him when I see him. I'm always like, nice, especially within horror movies, because horror does try to bring you up at the end of,
yeah,
oh, these people got out. I do just like the just
yeah. Pivoting. It ain't. It's another movie that's not horror. It's not even close. But like with those unhappy endings, the movie Blue Valentine with Ryan Gosling and Michelle Williams is like hands down my favorite like romance movie. But it's sad as shit. It's just sad as shit because it's not a very happy romance movie. It jumps back and forth between like when they're young and their first meeting and all this shit, and then like their marriage is basically falling apart, and it jumps back and forth between the two. And that was one of the first movies that I had watched where like it was it, it was an unhappy ending, but it wasn't that like I don't know. It wasn't a happy ending, but it wasn't necessarily a like an unhappy ending because it's ambiguous as fuck. It's like they might still get back together, but it definitely leans more like probably not. And it's just like one of those like
maybe.
it had such an impact on me. And I think it's one of my favorite romance movies because it's always kept me even at my most like hopelessly romantic. That movie has always kept me grounded in that way. Because that movie, you get all these other romance films that are so fantastical. They're escapes. And then this movie came along with this unhappy ending, this realistic portrayal of relationships and all the hard shit that people go
Right.
through. And it's my favorite because it's like I love the corny shit too, where it's like, okay, this is obviously like I love 500 Days of Summer, but even that has that twinge of reality to it where it's like you might not get the girl. That also had a semi unhappy ending where it's like he didn't end up with the girl he was with the whole movie. He found somebody else, and that was the message. And it's like sometimes you need those unhappy endings. I feel like
Yeah,
it really grounds you a little bit,
it
makes
does.
you face your reality a little
Yeah,
bit.
it does. It does, man. And that's what I say. That's why in a horror movie, I like it, man. It signifies a bold statement to me too,
Hmm.
because it signifies, especially in a horror movie, that you're not afraid to not make a sequel. You're okay
Right.
with this
Yeah.
story ending right here because everybody's fucking dead at the end.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like that. I think
Yeah.
that's it's noble.
I do. I think it's bold. I think that was a good way to put it because yeah, everybody will leave it. Was it last week we were talking? Did we talk about Paranormal Activity on the show, or was that just elsewhere with Dave and Alex?
Could have been
Probably.
elsewhere's.
Oh, it was. It was elsewhere. But we were talking about how there were alternate endings for Paranormal Activity when it came out, and the version I saw when I was a kid, my uncle had like a burnt copy of it, and I watched it over at his house, and then once it hit theaters and people were like watching it more, and they're like, man, that ending is so stupid. I'm like, what are you talking about? That ending was rad as hell. And they're like, no, that's so dumb. That's such a dumb ending. Uh, and I'm like, what do you like? What about it is stupid? It's like all she does is like kill dude and then come upstairs and then just like go raw into the camera and then it's like over. I'm like, what? I'm like, that's not what happened at all. Like, I'm like confused as hell because the ending I got was like finita. It was done. It was like there ain't gonna be no sequel, and if there is, it's not with these people. Um, and I loved it. Like that's what made me fall. I'm Paranormal Activity is definitely one of my guilty pleasure franchises to this day. But that ending, that first time I saw Paranormal Activity with that alternate ending, I was like, yo, that's rad because it was like she goes downstairs, kills dude, comes back. Spoilers, whatever. We've done that for a lot of movies today, but they're all old. I hate to be that person, but here we are. But she comes back upstairs after killing dude and then just is like swaying back and forth like she does as the time lapses, sitting next to the bed all possessed and shit. And then like the friend comes home and then discovers the body downstairs. It's like, fucking takes off, time lapses, and then the cops show up and they come up the stairs and she's like coming out of it. Just as the cops are coming up the stairs, she's still got this knife in her hand. She's like, "Where's Mika? Where's Mika?" And they're like, "Ma'am, put down the knife." And then that door, like at the end of the hallway, that's always slamming during the movie, like fucking the demon like slams that shit shut. And hey, that's true. Easter Sunday, a horror story with a happy ending. That's true.
Very hoppy ending.
Very happy ending. But yeah, I just rocked with that ending so much more. It was very like final. It was very intense. So I was like, damn, like that's crazy. This demon literally was like, okay, well, I'm gonna kill everybody. I thought that was rad. But it stuck with me a lot longer. But there is something to happy endings in a horror movie as well, because that's also, I was gonna say rare, but it's like because you get your fake happy endings.
Right,
where it's like,
yeah.
oh, everything's good, and then Jason jumps out of the lake and fucking
Or
pulls
is
you in,
it? Or is it?
Dun, dun, dun.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it is, and it's a nice payoff. I like the stories that have a complete close,
Mhm.
and then it is. But I do like the ones like I did like Halloween, how it just the Rob Zombie one, how that first one just kind of ended.
Yeah.
It's just like done,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, okay,
Oh shit.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's an interesting genre, a beautiful genre, if I may myself.
It is. It can be very beautiful. Horror. I actually saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the first time like a couple of years ago, and that was one of my first thoughts about the movie. Is nobody ever talks about how fucking gorgeous this movie is. Like it's beautiful, like the way it's shot, and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous movie. Um, but that's not the depiction I've been given over the years. Of when you just hear people talk about it and shit like that. Okay, that's also true. If you haven't seen Man Cats, I highly suggest everybody goes out and searches it right now. Man Cats at Camp Nostalgic.
Man Cats.
It'll be worth it. Dave makes his jokes, but I think it deserves to go viral. Honestly, have you seen it, Shep?
I don't believe so. I'll have to go look it up.
We're gonna have to hook you up with that.
Yeah, because I'm down to watch it. But I wanted to give a special shout out to Leprechaun because that was one of my faves also growing up.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why. I think it's because it got, you can tell they really wanted to make like a serious movie with the first one.
Yeah.
And then they're like, fuck it. Who gives
Fuck
a
it.
shit? Do whatever you fucking. That's just how I feel like. Is this a guy at his desk just very overworked, and someone came in and is like, "Sir, the new Lep," and he's just like, "Do whatever the fuck they feel. Do whatever you feel like. Get out of my office." All right, okay. And he's
Okay.
going to the hood.
Yeah, right. He looks down at the script.
Well, I guess he's going to the hood. I guess he's going to space. I guess we're going back to the
hood. Right. So nice. They've visited twice.
I'd like to know where Leprechaun's at these days. I feel like he's back to the hood for the third time. Let's make it right now.
Let's make it happen.
I saw the guy that plays the Leprechaun is in a new show, so I know he's still out there.
Oh yeah.
And he's still acting. He's still.
Well, they replaced him with some new guy. They did the Leprechaun Origins. I haven't even seen that one.
It was a new guy?
Yeah,
I don't like that.
it was a WWE person, if I'm not mistaken.
Ew.
Yeah, well, that's
I thought they were like creature monster
that's your people.
leprechauns. Hey, whoa. Re- we got 5 minutes left. Wrestling has been very interesting this past 2 weeks, my guy. I don't know if the Chase and Shep universe out there is very keen to the wrestling business, but I don't know why that's doing that. But
Doing what?
I hear like that old sound before somebody would call and you had speakers on, you know what I'm saying? And you'd have like a little rustling, little electric noise, and then you'd get
Yeah,
like a call or something. I just heard that over my headphones. But this dude MJF, man, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, just causing a big riff in the wrestling community right now. Everybody can't tell if it's a work or a shoot, or if they've shot themselves into a work, or if they're working on a shoot that's shooting off into a work. It's interesting. Everybody thought they were blending reality with a wrestling storyline, and now it just looks like maybe not. I don't know. I'm interested though. I'm sports entertained.
I I can't figure it out. Dylan Postal. I don't know. He's a little dude. Hornswoggle, was that ring a bell?
Yeah, Hornswoggle. Yeah, okay. He played an actual leprechaun.
Yeah, and Leprechaun Origins. I'm pretty sure that shit was produced by the WWE.
It was, but I thought like when I saw the preview, I thought they was like creature leprechauns, and I was like, well, that's dumb. So that's even dumber.
It's even dumber.
Mhm.
I feel like they tried to go back and make it serious again. Only Chucky can do that. Nobody else can do that. And you know why? Because Chucky's the only motherfucker who's kept it consistent. It's the same storyline, even right fucking now. There's no retconning. There's no rebooting. There's just fucking forward as far
Yep.
as the eye can see. They're like, fuck it. We trudge forward. I'm hyped for season 2 in October. It's become one of my favorites. Hey, there's everybody.
Oh yeah. The Alpha Raid.
Just as we, I guess Mondays are about to get a lot longer. That's how it's starting to feel.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Maybe we
What
need to
up?
move our time.
The
I don't know.
raids.
What up? 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 Thanks for coming back, everybody. For those of you coming back, thanks for joining us for the first time. For those of you joining for the first time,
The Thanos. Oh snap!
oh snap!
We got the Thanos. We got
Hi,
the Thanos.
hello, hello, Chase and Chef. How's it going? It is going
What's up?
good. Alpha,
Daiso.
hello, hello.
Going pretty good. I don't know if it's raining yet. It doesn't look like it, man. It's supposed to storm.
It definitely looks like it's getting ready to storm.
It needs to, man. I've been itching for a thunderstorm today.
Oh, what's going to happen?
Been itching bad for
It's
a
going to happen.
thunderstorm.
It's going to happen. That's so funny to watch. The numbers just fucking
Bounce up,
change
bounce
like
up.
that. That
How you
deserves
guys doing?
another Thanos, I think.
Another, yeah. If you got it there, there.
I got
Oh snap!
no snap. Oh snap!
We've been talking horrors all day.
We've been talking horror for an hour.
I meant
Horror.
horror.
We've mostly been talking.
Sheesh.
Sheesh. We've been talking horror movies so far, but we can pivot to games now that everybody just got here from Twitch, because I know a lot of you are horror streamers. I know Shep and I don't know how many people you checked out, Shep. I've been talking horror 3 hours. Yeah.
I mean, you can never talk
Is
too
that a
long.
challenge? Are we going toe to toe? Do we have to go for 4 hours? Um,
3 more hours.
we got this. We got this. I mean, hell, we've done hours and hours worth of content just on horror alone. So I think we
That's
could
true.
manage 3 more hours. Um, yeah, we've checked out some of your stuff since last week. Alpha, here's that. Uh, Alpha, we listened to the podcast, really enjoyed it. Um, we're set. Grab your popcorn.
The fourth hour of horror starts now.
That's funny. Um, horror games are a whole other beast, man. I think we mentioned that last week, but
That seems to be the only thing. Like I said, the movies haven't really. I mean, they haven't scared me in a decade now. I feel like, but the games, on another hand, that's a whole different ballpark.
I
When
get
you're in control, oh man,
it freaks me. Like I and it's funny because I'll always buy them. Like I'll always buy them. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna play the shit out of this. And then I like boot it up. I play like 5 minutes. I'm like, nope, I can't. I cannot do this. I think I don't even think she was paying attention to me, but I was playing Dying Light not too long ago, and Belle's sitting there right next to me, and I just keep fucking like, oh man, like I just move so much when I play horror games, like especially when Evil Dead was fucking me up the other day. It just getting to me, man, like because they're so
whenever they
silent when
charge
they
you,
run up on you.
the ones that fucking charge you, there's just one dude that I couldn't run fast enough to get away from him, and it was like, yeah, anxiety all over the place.
Yeah. Oh, I hate it when it's chasing you down and you just feel like you're gonna get got.
But have you ever played Outlast?
Outlast, I didn't. I played it. I just didn't outlast the game. Uh, Alien Isolation, I that was one. I think I bought it and I never got the chance to play it like properly because I was thinking about that recently. I don't know if you know anything about that, Shep, but it's like I had a PlayStation camera at the time,
Right.
and it like will listen to you, and the alien will track you when you make noise and stuff, like in real life and shit. So there's that extra element of
That's like, oh
I have no
man.
problems with games where I can fight back. If I can fight back, or I agree. You
And there
just
you
on
go.
the phone, you're saying, yeah.
It is, man. Outlast was terrifying, and they just run at you, and then you had to hide under a bed or something. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's all I can do. When I
I
started
I
playing that, I'm like, this
I
is it.
agree with DeLupa there that I mean, if I can't fight back, that's why Outlast is the one with the flashlight, right? It's like here's a flashlight, have
Use
fun.
the camera. You turn
Yeah,
you can turn your
either
camera
way,
on or
it's
some shit.
fucked. It's I don't know why anybody would put themselves through that. It's just oh my god, the stress.
Well,
Even
that and
thinking about it, I'm having
some of
flashbacks.
the shit the little demon people would say to you in that game was just out there, man. Like there's two of them, and I swear I was like,
Yes, I
um,
think because I know I tried one with just it was just like a flashlight too. I think.
oh, I've played a few of them. I forget
Yeah.
the one back in the day that I played, like way, way, way back in the day. I'm talking PlayStation 2. It was like you had it was like a from like Japan, I think, and it was like you had to take pictures of the ghost and shit like that.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
I really like that game, although I can't remember its name.
See, sounds spooky. I still have Blair Witch just sitting. Blair Witch was the game I considered streaming because, like, for me, if I'm gonna play a horror game, I want people in the room with me. Like, that's the best way to play, in my opinion. So that's why I always thought streaming horror video games like would be good because it's like you got people, like you're doing it together, and it's like you're not just alone uh, going through that. So I might have to do that for Blair Witch.
I just couldn't figure Blair
Listen,
Witch out, so I gave up.
that's the spirit.
I mean, what can you do?
Y'all are far braver than I, because I mean, like, I don't know. It's a love hate relationship. I love horror video games, but my God, they pucker my asshole. It really just freaks me out sometimes, man. Too much.
Resident Evil
Fatal
7 was pretty
Frame.
good. Fatal Frame. Yeah,
Fatal Frame.
Pudgy, that's right.
Pudgy with the assist.
My man. Fatal Frame, I believe that is it. And that was really good. It is. That was a really solid game back in the day. You took the pictures of the ghosts.
I'm scared all the time, but the viewers love it. I mean, sure, people love to see people be scared. I was talking earlier about working at a haunted woods, and that was one of the most fun. I'd never actually been to a haunted house before, but I worked at this one, and it like scaring people, man. It's just something about it, like being on the other end of it. It's like where you're, because I'm a big dude, and I would just like literally, I would have an orange jumpsuit on. I'd take a bottle of fake blood and just pour it. My head was shaved at the time, and I had a beard going on. I just pour all this blood on my head, and I can get real small and just kind of fucking sneak around. But I scared the shit out of some people, and it was a good time. It's always a good time. It's always fun to see that fun and excitement of all that with like people in real time. But ghosts don't exist, right? Do you want us to say no? Is that because I can't.
I've seen a few that would probably be kind of upset if I said that
Yeah, right.
they didn't
I've
exist.
experienced too much. Ghosts are real, Lupa. Sorry. Please say no. Or they're not real if you don't want them to be.
The scariest thing is that we all have a spooky skeleton inside us right now.
Right. Just
just
waiting
waiting,
to dance, because
just waiting to get out.
as far as I know, that's what spooky skeletons do. They like to dance.
But yeah, no, I think the ghosts are real for sure. I don't know if they're the tormented souls type ghosts, but I do think they are like the energy we leave behind for sure.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that.
So I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm not smart enough. I've just seen them,
Right.
but I'm not
I just
smart
I
enough to
just
be
I
like,
just know what I've experienced. That's it. You know.
well, I like it. We had our tiff last summer with the explosion that scared the shit out of me. I think that was the last time I got very,
How
very
do you
scared.
protect yourself from them then? I mean, if they're chill, you know, what's to protect yourself from? You
You
think
think
they're
they're
you think
horny
they're horny
ghosts?
ghosts? Yeah, I'm
I
sure.
mean, probably.
Probably. Why
I,
wouldn't there be?
I don't know though, because if ghosts can't feel, then they wouldn't feel horny. But
That's fair. That's a valid point. I mean,
like
like think of like Gerald's Game. Have you seen Gerald's Game? Like that dude died like mid-sex, so he might have died and became a horny ghost. It's
maybe
possible. It's very possible.
if that's your if if that's your stick. But to get rid of
But
ghosts,
now, hold on.
back to that.
If they're chill, all good. But there aren't chill ghosts, right? That's wrong. Casper is a friendly ghost. He's the chillest ghost there is, I think.
You got to get sage, and sage gets rid of the bad spirits. Um, and just going off the knowledge from a circle of salt, it keeps the bad spirits out.
Right from your dad's old witch girlfriend. all that, all that knowledge coming in handy. Good thing she left her spell book
She
behind.
would tell me some fucked up shit when I was a kid. See, sage and salt, bada boom. What are you saying right there?
Sage and salt. Yeah, yeah. So you're saying all ghosts are chill? If you need them to be. If you
So
believe they're chill, they'll be chill. If they're not chill, it's probably a demon.
one of the times I seen a ghost, it was down in the cemetery. The whole story of the cemetery was that a guy burnt down this church, and the cemetery was these people from this church. And you can see a ghost if you go down there. So we went down there with a Ouija board one night, and we went under this tree that we kept seeing a ghost peek out from behind, like she was playing hide and seek. And when me and my friend used the Ouija board, now there was no wind blowing at all that night, but the tree branch above us, when it started moving, the little pallet started bobbing up and down. So we told the ghost, "Hey, we're not here for any harm," and the ghost just spelled "get out." Um, I wanted to stay personally. I thought it was about to get real lit. My friends were all like, "Let's go, let's get out of here." So we
They said they're
left,
cool ghosts if they're dripped out.
and one of the girls that was with us, she started screaming on her way out, and we were like, "Yo, what's going on?" And she had like a tube top thing and like a little sweater on over it, and she took the sweater down and she had a fresh claw mark down her back. So yeah, there are definitely some not chill ghosts out there.
Yeah. But I would just like to say for the record that I don't condone the story that was just told. I mean, you lost me at Ouija board. You told me the story before, and I still don't condone this story. It's
I got a Ouija board hanging on my bedroom wall, so I mean, if they can come get possessed, then come on over.
so you're telling me everyone who just said that ghosts are real, every day you surround yourself with sage and salt. Before going to bed, you put a circle of salt around your bed. Some people, if you're that worried about it,
talking because actually, I do
he's got some sage and salt on hand. Speak of this, but the
have
ones
some
that
sage
don't
right
have
here.
reason to interact won't. Why mess with them? You know, I had a friend who would fuck with ghosts like that. Like he'd talk a lot of shit at ghosts. Um, he'd tell me one story he told. Like he'd wake up in the middle of the night and all this like kooky shit would be happening in his house, and he would like get mad at him. He'd get mad at the ghost, and he told us like a few of these stories. And you know, who's to say if any of it's true or not? But
It's a big doink.
um,
Sage.
but damn, what was I gonna say? Oh, like he told us this story one time where he's like, he heard this noise, and he his bedroom was like the basement of their house, and they had like drop down ceilings, and there were like mouse traps along the ceiling, and he's like, he could feel something fucking with him. He's like, I just want to go sleep, like leave me the fuck alone. And then the mouse traps started going off like from one end of the room, like towards him, and he would just like talk mad shit at these ghosts all the time. Like he was just irritated with it. Like he was just one of those people who's like, I don't care. Like go haunt somebody else. Like I'm trying to sleep. Like he was just one of those dudes.
No, and we weren't there to mess with the ghost or nothing. We were more so there just. We were talking about that a little bit ago.
Finding the
Just
monsters, hunting the
not just
ghosts.
just questioning mortality and stuff, seeing if it's
Oh
real,
yeah, yeah.
getting something from the other side to interact. Then maybe there's more to life than just this mortal meat shell we've got, type thing. Um, we weren't trying to mess. Like we didn't touch anything or destroy anything. We were really big on that. We didn't want to like upset the
Right.
environment, I guess would be a good way to say it. We were just there to observe. That was one of the first things we always told the ghost. And when we told that ghost, hey, we're just here to observe, not mess with anything, like I said, it just spelled get out. All right.
Hey, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
But on the flip side of that, at my friend's house, we also talked to another ghost who was very friendly and was like, "You guys seem like really cool." And we were like, "Can you show yourself to us?" And it was like, "Yeah." And like 2 weeks later, we saw the ghost in his living room, and we are like, "Oh shit, we just saw a ghost!" Like, okay,
I can
like,
bring
and
a ghost.
and that was as far as that went. Just like very, very chill, very nice. He asked us to play music. We did, type thing. So I don't know.
I don't condone the old Ouija.
I mean, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Question it.
It's true.
Like I said, I feel like a ghost, especially like the ones that are more like a real scary looking thing or something spooky, is like they died from a traumatic experience somewhere, and that's like their
Yeah.
energy's been left behind from that in that specific place. So I think, yeah, if you swayed away from that, you're pretty good. Like, there's like a very haunted, it's been on the Ghost Adventure show, Insane Asylum, like 25-30 miles from me here. I
Mhm.
don't go there because they're like, yo, it's demonic,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, if you stay away, it's not like they're gonna float over here and get, I mean, but they can, because like I said, I got the Ouija on the wall. It's not open, but I'm sure they can figure out a way.
Oh, they'll figure out a way.
Crawl on in here.
I'm sure. I'm sure of it.
But I feel like that always carries over. It's like the real life and like the skits we make. Because when we did like the summer camp thing, it's like I'm the one that's like, let's get the book, let's
Yeah.
read from the book, type of thing. And you're like,
Right.
no, 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 no,
Like,
no,
yeah,
no.
let's not do that.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like that's the spitting image of real life. Because yeah, I am the type that's like, let's try that out though. Like, well,
You
You
know,
know.
no, I'll tell you after the show.
Well, it's just like
It's irrelevant to the conversation.
I go into like the Evil Dead show where, he's like, let me summon a demon to teach me how to get all these demons back in the book type of
Right.
thing. It's like
It's
I
almost
would,
kind of like Talladega Nights, where he's like, "Throw me that knife so I can get this knife out of my leg." You know.
yeah, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. It's, it's fun. What is, life is about exploring and adventures. And like that is
You
like the
know.
only sort of exploring and adventure like left for me. And it's how I feel about it.
Yeah. We talked about movies and video games, but and even music, but another form of horror that I really enjoy is books. Because again, it's like just like video games, just like movies, like it differs. Like the horror element of it is different, and like I don't know, there's something like I've read a few books for sure where I just like I'm in it, like I'm just like oh shit, like I'm just like turning the pages and it's so much more like Exorcist the book to me like scared the shit out of me. Like it was just terrifying like reading it. But yeah, books, we support reading. I would happily, if somebody's like, you want to be on like the read posters in libraries, I'd be like, fuck yes, hook Chase and Shep up with that. Like, let's anybody trying to be sponsored by the library system because I'm out here trying
No, I mean,
read
I've always,
books. We'll
especially,
we'll do it for Library of Madness. We'll have like a whole push.
like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
music I grew up on was always real knowledge pushing, especially like the old hip hop of the 90s, really gain knowledge, read books type of thing. And I always
yeah.
loved it. So I'm trying to get back into reading books
I'll
now
fight a
more
ghost.
than I have.
I'll fight a ghost. I ain't scared to throw hands on a see-through biatch.
Hey,
That's right.
I've watched the Ghostbusters more times than I can count, so I'm pretty
You
sure I
can't really
got
defend
this.
yourself by even listen to it.
I got it.
How do you fight a ghost? Um,
First thing
Plasma
you do,
packs.
yeah, is get a plasma pack.
Yeah, plasma
Um,
packs. Vacuum cleaners have been known to do the job.
no, but honestly, if you had a ghost in your house and you wanted to get rid of it, the first thing I would honestly tell somebody to do is like burn sage for sure. Um, there's gotta be and see here's my evil deadness in me. There's gotta be some sort of witch's spell that you can do to like banish evil spirits
Right.
and stuff. I know there's things you can do and put above your doorways and stuff like that and windows. Um and then yeah, I'd say like your OGs, salt, holy water. Uh did you change the logo to
I,
something different?
it wasn't anything.
Oh. I thought it was Spider-Man. I was like, are we swinging ideas right through right now? Like we're swinging our ideas through here right now. How to get Ghost out of here. Um Swinging an idea in at you. That's what I do. Yeah, the holy water's got to do the trick.
Oh God, where's this going? My
Where's your
grandma
grandmother
taught me an
sound
old
coming?
technique. Exorcisms work, pagan spells. It just depends. It just depends, really. It does. Like,
I would more so yes.
that's probably a fact.
That would be your easiest bet is to be friend with a witch and just be like, yo,
Low key, I feel like, zombies have had a big moment and like vampires and shit in horror. But I'm a big fan of witches, like in horror movies. There are all sorts of different versions of, oh God, well, was a pillowcase and a dresser, works for ghosts and birds.
I've always been
Oh, goodness.
like I've wanted to see more of the like in drag you to hell, that like the gypsy type of witch that like gives you like some just whispers some sort of little curse as you
Yeah,
walk
yeah.
by and you're just fucked. You're just fucked.
Um, Gela gave me a comic not too long ago called Witches, but it's spelled with a Y. And the witches are not witches as we know them. They're like these real fucked up, scary, like tree creature things. and that's just another one to add to the list of different types of witches. Like it was scary shit. It was a great comic. But again, that's going back to books and stuff. Like comic books have been rad. I don't find those quite as scary, but like the imagery sometimes can just be like, oh shit.
Or warlocks. We got to give love to warlocks,
Warlocks, of course.
which
Love
are
you to
man witches,
man
or
witches.
a man witch. A man witch is a warlock.
Man witches. That's so funny.
A man witch. I mean, a man witch is a warlock.
Any wholesome witches? Any wholesome witches in the house? Dun, dun, dun.
I dabble. I got some moon water back here. I got my stuff over here.
Just look on TikTok. There you go.
That
That's
is
true. You can find witch talk is a big thing at the moment. That's interesting.
It probably is. I
always
noticed.
imagine an old cursed hag coming into Radio Shack back in the day and just putting a curse on me because I can't get her to understand how a Roku works.
There you go. That's a movie. Book it. But yeah, TikTok is interesting where they have their different subsets of everything, and if you like too much shit, you'll just be there, and you
You'll
can't
just
get
be,
out.
and now you are TikTok.
Yeah.
Welcome
No,
to
it's the
TikTok.
truth. It's like I remember big time that happening.
I feel that.
Yeah, and animals for sure do protect you. I agree. But like I remember like going through a breakup and I was using TikTok and liking, like a lot of breakup stuff, and then you just get stuck in depressed sad
And
boy
breakup
TikTok.
land.
Yeah. Sad talk, I think it's called.
Sad talk.
I'm sure that's exactly what it's called. And you get stuck there and then it sucks and you're like, dude, TikTok's not fun. 2 dogs. There you go. Shout outs to the dogs. They are. I think animals see the unknown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when I had a cat growing up, it's like she'd be like dancing around looking at something. It's like, what the hell are you looking at, Sniffles? And probably some sort of little ghost.
Hold up. You channeled breakup energy into TikTok? That's what you chose to do? I wrote a whole movie
does.
after a breakup. You
That's
fucking
what
just
everybody does.
went to TikTok?
I went to TikTok with it. They had some good stuff on there.
Oh, shit.
See right there, right? Look at the comment below, hand that you didn't post it. There. Wait.
Oh. And nobody will ever see it, Shep.
We did it again.
My house is stuck in sad
See,
talk.
there you go. Sad talk is a thing. Thing.
You know what though? That's right, Randy. Can't be healthy, right? Very not mental health Monday energy there.
No.
Technically, it's Mellow Monday now.
I'm pretty sure
but
that
it
was
ain't mellow
before.
neither.
That was before Mental Health Monday was the thing. So those were my stepping stones of lessons that led me on the path to where we are sitting right now today.
That's right.
So
there wouldn't be all this improvement if there's nothing to improve on,
Yeah, I got to get my heart broken to take a level up.
That's right.
Sometimes it happens.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. TikTok's interesting. Definitely befriend witches and warlocks. There are definitely good ones out there.
Yeah. Are we wrapping up? Is that what's happening right now?
I don't know.
Feels like that. It feels like that. It sounds like we're wrapping up. It feels like what's happening.
We've talked about a lot today. Sometimes dreams can cure you of your scared horror movies. It definitely can. Yes, TikTok can have very TikTok does have very good information on it. It's just like pretty much any social media these days. You're going to find your toxicness on there, but it also does have some clutch stuff on there.
I mean, that's been Mellow Monday all day today. The topic has been horror on Mellow Monday. Horror and mental health. How the two can go hand in hand.
Horror in life, bud.
Horror in life.
Pretty much.
Ooh.
But no, yeah, we were actually doing that at the arcade yesterday. Oh snap! We were using a TikTok hack to rig the machines for tickets.
Yeah,
TikTok
hacks, man, they're everywhere. They do come in handy. Like I can't even hate on it. You know what I mean? Like they really do come in handy sometimes. People hit me with something, and I want to hate it, but I'm like, damn. One game that I would recommend to any of you guys who haven't played it is Sea of Solitude. That's a good one that blends like horror with mental health. I played that in one sitting like a few weeks ago. I loved it.
What's the is Visage? Is that what's the one
That's
where it's like every room you walk into is different? You can't walk backwards.
I have no idea.
It was like a weird trapped in a painting.
Yeah, see, it's a good game.
It's like every now and then you'd come up to a spot where the painting would be like more done up. I don't know. I don't know what it was called, but
I
that one
feel
was
like
like,
I kind of know what you're talking about. I am hyped as hell for they just dropped the trailer for the Resident Evil 4 remake. So I'm here for that. That's my favorite.
and Little Nightmares is one that I do like too. That was one of my faves.
Phasmophobia, yeah, we got a big Phasmophobia crowd here.
We do,
I've
yeah.
never tried it. I watched I think Alpha streaming it and I was like, nope, not for me. Not on my own time. That's shit look
I
terrible.
looked into it. I just don't know if my computer will let me like run on Steam games. I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
It
I don't
could
know.
suck.
I don't know either. I got a Mac, so I don't know what that does for me in gaming. Probably not much. Started
I've
Phasmo
got
a
a
month ago.
HP.
This is just making me want to play games. I've been jonesing for horror movies lately. I ain't gonna lie. I'm in the mood, but I feel like I'm just kind of like I'm holding off so I can just let loose in a few months. Yeah, that's kind of wrapping it back around to what we were talking about at the beginning. Is it's a good controlled environment for fear.
It is,
These
yeah.
things.
Well, all that kind of stuff is you can turn it off if you get too scared. You know, if you're in a movie, you can walk out if you get too scared. If you're reading a
Yeah.
book, you can put it down if you get too scared. A lot of it is getting to experience that part of life without
Mhm.
fucking going out and hitchhiking and having some crazy person pick you up and
Yeah.
experiencing it that way because that's not cool.
Yeah, that's not the ideal scenario.
Nah.
But all right, let's close it out here. Final thoughts for a Mellow Monday. Uh, we for those of you that missed it at the beginning, Mellow Monday uh, is the rebrand of Mental Health Monday. We're still talking mental health, but now we're not uh, put in that box. We can now talk about broader topics. We'll have more guests on hopefully soon. Um, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for joining us for
Thanks for
sure.
returning, for all of you people who returned from last week. Um, yeah,
And
and
yeah, my final thought is like, you know, like I said earlier, horror is a good escape. There's many escapes for different reasons, but if it for you is like it is for me, and it's just, you know, a nice little world, enjoy
yeah,
it and love
embrace it.
it.
Yeah, yeah, horror can be good for you. That's my closing thought.
A little bit of horror can go a long way. I can't wait till Halloween.
That's
We're under
true.
150 days, baby.
We're almost there. We're almost there.
We're almost there.
And of course, because shameless plug, if you haven't watched Chase and Shep's Summer Camp of Horrors, you can go to chaseandshep.com and find that. Watch our own horror show.
And go check out all the merch and all that good
Easter
stuff.
Sunday, all of our horror stuff that we've done.
Yeah.
Shameless plug. Sheesh. What a shameless plug. Um, yeah, you can check out the merch, all that. Love you guys to death. Dun, dun, dun. Love you too, bud. Much
Love you
love to
too, bud.
everybody.
Yeah, much love to everybody, guys. Thanks for joining us on the stream tonight. It's been real fun talking horror movies and stuff. The imaginary friends we talked about. A lot of good shit.
Hell yeah. Started playing horror games and I've learned so much about myself and what I can tolerate. So
That's
glad I
cool.
found it. So glad you found us. We're always happy to have more followers. Like we said, we got tons of backlog stuff, scripted content. You can go check that out at our YouTube.
Yeah.
Uh, Otherwise, everybody have a fantastic day. Sheppy, you want to spin that music?
Yeah. Y'all have a great week. Smooches and deuces, ladies and gentlemen.